What is going on, guys? Judo Sloth here and welcome to today's Clash of Clans video. Today we have more of a technical breakdown for you guys. We are going to be looking at the Queen Charge into LavaLoon, the best attack strategy in the game. And initially we have this base getting taken out by Crunch Time in their CWL Elite matchup. Then we have one of the most insane Queen Charge LavaLoon attacks from the ESL Mobile Open. I'll explain why in a second. Finally, we'll move back to another Crunch Time attack against this base. But let's go ahead and dive into their first one. Now, the first thing that I noticed when looking at this base is that the Eagle and the Queen are right in the center of the base. Something that you have to be looking at in terms of that Queen Charge Lalo. But where exactly should this attacker come in from? Now, it is a little bit of a symmetrical base, so you could arguably come in from either the left, the right, or straight onto one of these multis. Each one of them gives you access to a multi, but the Queen is situated more towards the right hand side, so it therefore makes sense to come in from this area. Setting up the funnel to get the Queen in is relatively straightforward. It's as complex as you want to make it. Sometimes it's easier just to commit them extra troops, especially if you've got defenses sitting on the outside of the base here, where it's a little bit trickier to just snipe buildings off. So we will use the P.E.K.K.A to break into this area, take that out. The King will then be used across this right hand side, meaning that the Queen can punch straight into the base where this multi-inferno is. Let's watch the first part of the attack so you can see that, and we will be sure to break this down as we move along. Now guys, if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on that notification bell as well so you don't miss out on daily Clash of Clans videos. So here you have the P.E.K.K.A coming in, the King coming in at that other side. That nicely sets up the funnel for the Queen to punch straight into that multi and the enemy Queen as mentioned. No test wall breaker needed. Now, if you are attacking a base which has already been attacked, you don't need to worry about test wall breakers, coconut loons, anything like that if you know it's not needed. Good practice, yes, because you always want to be thinking about the clan war leagues, the single attack format, and notice as well the delayed deployment on the healers. The Queen Charge is critical here. We're getting right into the center of the base. Not only does it take out defenses, it creates pathing for your Lalo, and the multi-inferno is something which can lock onto all four healers. So whilst they're not taking huge damage, they will be taking significant damage. And if you can mitigate that, then by all means do that. The Queen was in no danger at that point. Yes, she took a little bit of damage, but there was no way she was going to go down. However, the rage spell comes in ahead of time in order to help get through the enemy Queen. Make sure you are not waiting until the Queen is already taking damage. It might then be too late. Now, I want you to take note of the placement of the jump spell here. Very critical to this attack. We waited until it was ready to go in. Otherwise, you might be wasting time on it. However, let's take a look at this. If the jump spell were to be placed here, look, over all of the compartments, which some people might think is a good thing, you open up everything, the Queen has a good shot at just jumping into this right hand side compartment. She's already standing up that way. Yes, she takes out a multi-inferno, but she then gets caught on all of these buildings and never goes into the Eagle, which is a much better route for her. If she comes and takes that Eagle, you create such better pathing for your Lalo because you can get to this multi relatively easy with the LavaLoon. If you've cut out the core of the base, you've then got a nice circle around the outside. If you do not take out the core of the base, you've then got to come in from different angles in order to get your Lalo into the center. So it's far better off to get your Queen into into the center, not to mention the eagle is a better defense to take out, but also the pathing is just so much better for the Lalo. Now there is a Lava Hound in the CC. Many people in the comments always put that they never come across Lava Hounds. Now the reason the Lava Hound is there is to slow down a queen charge. It's very effective in today's meta, so slowing a queen charge is what you want to do. Now the queen does actually take out the multi as well, so a bonus, but not after she's taken out the core. Now again, if we pause here, notice how the Lalo is drawn around here. They're not going into the center, which is a lot easier. You don't have to worry about coming in from different angles to then path a whole host of loons into the center. They just move nicely around the outside. And also the queen is still alive. She is a pivotal part of your attack. Yes, the queen charge could be described as a kill squad, which it is, but if you can keep that queen alive, then go for it. So the Lalo not only comes in quick enough to protect the queen, it keeps her in track on the inside of the base, so again she's not drawn to the outside, but also we're now not committing anything else to her. All of the spells are for the Lalo, but if you can keep that queen alive, she comes into play here, helps to take out the wizard tower, the single infernos, and the patience of this attacker is incredible, saving that Grand Warden's ability until the Giga Bomb at the bottom. When you can predict the pathing of your Lalo, then it's a lot easier to control the pathing and make sure that your spells are used where you want them to be used. Saving the Grand Warden's ability to the end really then is something that you can do because you can mimic that attack that you visualized a lot easier, a lot better, and that's what this video will help with. But we have a crazy LavaLoon attack which happened in the ESL Mobile Open, so let's go ahead and watch that now. Onto the ESL attack from the Mobile Open. This won the war for Lost Meta. It was incredible because playmakers came out. They got a 3-star at the start and then they were ahead the entire war. And with 2 attacks left, Lost Meta needed to get 2 3-stars. They secured one of them, and then this final attack got them the second 3-star in a row to win very narrowly on percentage. But the technique of it was incredible, and there were so many balloons left that I wanted to highlight this to you. And there is even more streams coming up from the ESL Mobile Open that you do not want to miss out on. In fact, what I'm going to do for you guys is drop a link in the description of this video so you can check out the next live stream. Get on over to their channel, make sure you're subscribed, and you will be able to check this out on Thursday, just 2 days time, guys. But as we start off here, the queen comes in with the queen charge and 4 earthquake spells. Now whenever you want to use earthquake spells, think about, is it easier to bring 4 earthquakes rather than potentially you're having to use wall breakers with a freeze to get through a multi and a jump? That's 3 spell spaces. If you can use just 4 spell spaces, then you are able to do a lot of damage to the defenses around there as well. You can see that the commentators here, which was Carbon and Inverum, were highlighting exactly what happens in this attack as well. The pathing, which we already mentioned in that first attack and will be sure to highlight in the next attack by crunch time. Wow, what an attack this next one is. But the pathing for that Lalo is set up by the queen charge. Notice again, the queen is still alive moving through this. Grand Warden's ability over that town hall. You guys are seeing similarities here, and if you've got any tips for the queen charge Lalo, be sure to let me know down in the comments as well. Lost Meta must have been going crazy at this point because they knew the war was getting into their grasp. They were about to take it. The final wizard tower was swarmed with balloons. That is the effectiveness of the Queen Charged Lalo, and a brilliant demonstration. So again, do not forget guys, Thursday, just 2 days time, 12:30 p.m. PST time, you can tune into their next live stream. But if you subscribe to the channel, you will be able to see more top level competition like this, and so many close wars. They come down to the wire. Brilliant stuff. Now on to Crunch Time's second Lalo attack that I want to break down. If you thought you had seen it all, then wait until you see this top-notch attack. And if you do want to join Crunch Time, they are currently tearing it up in the CWL Elite. Maxed out Town Hall 12s, join my Discord server linked below. You will find everything you need to know. Now this base is a little bit trickier. It's kind of cut into two separate bases. Look, there's one here where the town hall is, and then there's another very large channel with two multis, the eagle and the queen in. So it makes sense to queen charge one of them and Lalo another. Creativity here is amazing. We are going to charge the queen into this multi. Main reason I think is just that it was so easy to get the queen to go in a straight line through that. The funnel is very easily created, and the queen can then get so much value. Multi, eagle, enemy queen, she's able to power through, and then the pathing for the Lalo is straight onto the town hall. Now we mentioned in the first attack by Crunch Time, just get your funnel right, but if you can snipe off buildings, then go for it. So a wizard is used initially to take out a couple of buildings here free from defenses, and it really just helps to set up the funnel as cheaply as possible. Now notice this area here where we have this long channel of no buildings. Yes, it could be a trap, there could be Teslas there, but the king can easily come down and create a funnel down this area, and if you know there's not Teslas there, which there isn't in this attack, it makes it so much easier to charge the queen in. So let's begin and wait until you see the wall breaker deployment here. Top notch, and I'm going to give you a couple of tips for it as well. So in comes that wizard, takes out a couple of buildings. King then begins in a nice fashion, placed onto one building and carefully planned out where he will then go to self funnel. If ever you can do that, it is obviously a bonus. Sends in initial wall breakers with the freeze onto the multi. Whenever you have a multi that can reach the outside of the base, you've got to be freezing it because the wall breakers will go down incredibly quick. One coconut loon, and yes, the healers come in here, but they are out of range initially of the multi inferno, and the queen will take that out before they get a chance to take very much damage. As soon as that multi is about to go down, notices that he's got to open up walls here, otherwise when the queen has taken out this builder hut and cannon, there's a good chance she walks. So we've got to then get that right. Now yes, you could use a jump spell, but wall breakers attack buildings. They do not attack walls. They attack buildings behind walls. So if we have created the funnel successfully with the king, as we have, and we have this thin line of buildings, there's nowhere else for the wall breakers to go other than straight into the base. And under rage, the wall breakers are very good. So he sends a whole host of them in here. Reason being that if we were to break this wall and then this wall, let's say a Tesla popped in this area, the wall breakers could then retarget to this wall. Doesn't happen, but when the wall breakers take down one wall, they will then retarget to this building, then retarget to this building. So they're actually already there if you send them in one fashion, but obviously that does make them susceptible to splash damage. That's where the freeze spell was useful. Under rage though, the wall breakers do so much damage. They bust 3 layers of walls, so we are now 4 layers in because the pathing for the wall breakers was incredible. And whilst that rage helped the wall breakers through, I feel it was worth it because it then was used with the queen as well. So for a jump spell versus a rage spell, they're exactly the same. We get into that area and the queen is powering through the bottom here. A multi down, the eagle down, the queen down, and now, similar to that first attack, she's still able to keep going. But there's no reason to not start the Lalo now. The pathing has been created at the bottom here sufficiently that the Lalo can easily get into this top area and begin. You've got to think about, yes, trying to protect your queen, but also time on this as well. You don't want a time fail easily done with the Lalo. So when we're not committing anything else to the queen, start the Lalo, shift your focus. You no longer need to even look down that area. Have someone that's spotting you take note of that. Beautiful spell placement initially to get the balloons quickly from different angles onto that town hall. Obviously a key defense to get down, and the Grand Warden's ability successfully used over that. But as the balloons are splitting as well, if the balloons are going in different angles, it's always good to use that Grand Warden's ability to protect them across that wider area, because whenever you use spells, you want to try and use them spells onto the most amount of balloons, and if they've split and you can get the Grand Warden's ability to protect that instead of trying to split spells, then obviously that is more effective. Again, patience towards the end of an attack. We still have a haste spell in order to use if needed, really not needed in this one, and we still have some cleanup troops that can help out as well. Minions to spread around the base, particularly at the bottom here. Yes, we still have a baby dragon, which is quite frankly just annoying, but the queen steps up, takes that out, and it just shows that a lot of the time, if your planning is that top notch and spot on, then you can get this done. I'm sure the plan wasn't to leave a baby dragon up, but still powered through. I really loved the queen charge on this attack, and I hope you've enjoyed this more technical breakdown. If you want to see more queen charge Lalo attacks by crunch time, be sure to check out this video. We looked at a few other attacks a couple of weeks ago that will help you out as well. But until next time, guys, peace out.